Hi guys, Righteous Rainbow back again with another important and powerful dose of truth. For today, you see my background is different. I wanted to be more down to earth. I'm literally sitting on the floor of my living room. I wanted to be less, formal. When I was at my desk, I'll sit up in my executive chair. I want to be down to earth with you all because this is a heart-to-heart message from me to you all. This is something that my therapist helped me to understand about 3 years ago. I ain't seen her in about 2.5 years. But the time I had with her was instrumental for me in knowing my worth, okay? I want you all to know your worth and add text, okay? I want you to know your worth and add text. I want to give you all a real life example that happened to me today. And this example is going to help you to understand why you must know your worth, okay? So, this is a combination of two story times, okay? So, I've been helping my job sell office furniture, okay? So I've been, selling like appliances and, like desk stuff and chairs and things like that. So I put this particular item on Facebook Marketplace, okay? I did not know the worth, okay? And of course, I don't add tax on Facebook Marketplace. So I did not know the worth and I did not add tax, okay? So I put it up for a really, really low price, okay? Very low price. I didn't Google the market value. I just put it up there and said what I thought it was worth, okay? And so within a minute, I came in from my lunch break. I had two buyers interested. Two women were interested in buying this item that I was selling on Marketplace for my job. And one lady was like, hey, I get off work at 3 o'clock. I'm down the street at U campus. I can come pick it up as soon as I leave work. And she was very eager. Then right after her, another lady was like, hey, is that still available? What are the dimensions on it? So I was like, okay, they really like this. This is a hot seller, okay? And I mistook quick selling with the value of a thing. I thought, well, they're buying it for this much and they're in a hurry to get it. It must be a good deal. But I didn't understand that it wasn't about getting a good deal, a quick sale. It was about me getting the worth of the item. So I showed my manager, hey, we got two interested parties. One's coming up here in a couple hours. And she immediately tried to find me. She said, Misty, no, like we paid $600 for that thing. $600 for that thing. I was charging about, I think I put it on there, I said $25, but in the comment I said $10 to $15. And I was like, oh, that's why they were so eager to buy it, because I was selling it so cheap. And I looked online and the exact same model, because the model we got is like barely used, brand new. It still looks brand new. No dents, no damages, no nothing like that. And so I said, man, in my head I said, I don't want to have to tell her she's coming in and out. I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to let her down. I don't want to change the price on her. And I'm going to come back to that, but I'm going to shift gears. We do that same thing when it comes to dating. We do that same thing when it comes to our job, selling ourselves at an interview, going to certain churches, joining certain friend groups. We sell ourselves short and we're like, I know what I'm worth now, but I don't want to let them down. I've been letting them do this much for so long. I already agreed to do this for so long. I can't just up and change on them now. And I'm here to let you know, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. As soon as I saw that price on Google Shopping, I immediately screenshot. I cropped out the picture. I said, ma'am, I apologize. I made a big mistake. The price is actually worth way more. That brand is very expensive. It's very expensive. I said it's $600, but we're going to sell it to you for $300. We're going to let it go for $300. It's practically brand new and it's still worth $600 to this day. If you try to buy it right now, you're going to pay $600 for it. But I said, we're selling it for $300, okay? And she said, never mind. And I apologize. I said, I'm sorry. It was my mistake. But it took somebody else, like my therapist let me know my worth. It took my manager letting me know the worth of that item. So sometimes you don't know your worth. Sometimes you don't know your worth. When you watch videos like this, you talk to your big sister, you talk to your mom, your older coworker, they tell you about yourself, and you like, you know what? I do deserve better. I am a pretty cool person. I'm really not. I really do deserve the best. Okay? So you got to be around other people who know your worth for them to let you know, girl, you didn't let me play in your face. Girl, you worth so much more than that. You so much more worth than what you think you are. So anyways, so another lady went to buy it, and I said, oh, I got to let her know too. I said, hey, ma'am, I said, I miscalculated. This brand is very expensive. We have some cheaper ones I can give you for like probably 100. Even the ones I was gonna sell really cheap were worth more. I said I give the other ones for $100, but this was gonna have to go for 300. She said, "Man, that's 12 times worth the value." I said, "Man, I'm so sorry, but my manager corrected me, and I can't sell for any cheaper than half of what it's worth." And you all, sometimes people try to haggle with you. The first lady didn't haggle. She just said, "Oh, never mind." The second lady was like, "Man, that's times 12. That's 12 times what you told me." I said, "Man, I understand." And that's how it is, y'all. When you date people, sometimes you go in there thinking you worth having sex with them because they bought you a steak dinner, bought you crab legs, they flew you out to Miami. You don't have to have relations with a person. Now, if you told them you're gonna do it for a steak and a flew out, then you may choose to honor that that agreement. But even then, you're not legally held to it because prostitution is illegal. And so like you can change your mind. Like I'm allowed to change the price of what it costs to access me. You're allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. Okay, so I'm feeling like, man, I let two people down. I'm feeling bad. Like, ain't probably gonna sell now. No one's gonna want to pay that much for it. So I get home some hours later, and guess what I get? A buyer. Is this still available? Now, this time I had already changed the price to $300. Is this still available? And I changed all the other prices. I said, this one's $300, the other two are $200, and the other cheaper ones are $100. Is this still available? And I feel so encouraged. And I feel like God wanted me to see that so I could do this video today. I didn't know what topic I was gonna do today because sometimes I don't have a topic until like the last 5-10 minutes before I record. But I feel like God wanted me to do that video today. Like the price is a price. Like set the price, know your worth, and just change the price. Now you will lose a multitude of suitors. You will lose a bunch of job offers, but you will get the right one. Okay, you will get the right offer. Okay, the right one knows your worth and they want to give you what you're worth. Okay, thinking back to my therapist. Back when I met her in, I think, July, August, September of 2023, I think. And so I was with this guy. I did not really want to be with him anymore because he had some severe issues going on. And so I said, I feel so obligated because he already put some down payment on the promise ring. He had like a 3-part ring: promise, engagement, and wedding. And I was like, I don't want, I feel. And she said, Misty, write down who you are. So I wrote down what I want. I said, I'm smart, I'm funny, I'm spiritual, I'm creative, I'm kind, I'm organized, I'm everything down that I am. And she said, for all this, no matter what he put down on the ring, he getting all this for that down payment. He getting over on you. You getting played. You getting stiffed. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm all this here, and he put down with a few hundreds on some rings, and I'm all this right here. When I do my worth, guess what I did when I got back to see him? I said, I've been to my therapist and we've been discussing some changes, and if I don't hear from you in a few weeks, you'll know that you're one of them. Because he knew that he was not worth what I was. He knew that all I had to offer, he knew he was not worth all that I had to offer. He knew that he wasn't going to get me anywhere near. And he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy, like really, really nice guy. But he did not have like the tools to be a great husband or a great father because he had a lot of stuff going on in his life that he hadn't worked out. And I just thanked that therapist. I only saw her maybe like 5-6 times. And I didn't go to her for that. I went to her because of, because of some stuff I was thinking about with my mom passing away. I didn't go with her. I didn't go to her for my dating life, but it just happened to come up, and it took another woman to have me write it. And I had to listen to this day. I had to listen to this day. I had to listen to who I am. And I said, Missy, don't sell yourself short. I'm 40 years old. I've never been engaged, never been married before. And I told my sister today, I said, I don't even really care. I'm not going to sell myself short. I'm not going to give away a $600 item for $15. If I don't get married till I'm 70, if I never get married, I'm not going to sell myself short. I'm too fly for that. So I want you all to know you are amazing. You are beautiful. You are kind. You is important. And I want you to do not sell to the quickest buyer. Well, I got to get married before age 27. 37, Kevin Samuels said 37 is no man's land. I can't get married before I turn 40. No, you do not. No, you do not. Do not settle, okay? Know your worth and add tax, and you are allowed to change the price of what it costs to access you. Bye, guys.